Hi, I'm Matt, and on today's Matt's World DIY, I'm making pancakes, but not just any ordinary pancakes. I'm making delicious banana pancakes. These guys are so delicious. They come together quickly. They're so easy to make. Your kids, your family, your loved ones are all going to love them. It's got this naturally sweet flavor with caramelized bananas, and pair that with some toasted walnuts and some maple syrup, and you've got a feast. I hope you join me. Let's get to it. To get this recipe started, we're going to begin by measuring out all of our dry ingredients. We're going to start with 1 3/4 cup of flour, or 210 grams. You know, I like to measure my dry ingredients out, especially the flour, because that's one area where if you compact the flour too much, you're going to end up with a recipe, or you're going to have a consistency that's not going to be desired. So I'm measuring out 210 grams of flour. Now, this recipe is going to make about a dozen 3.5-inch sized pancakes. If you want to cut this recipe in half and make a smaller portion, feel free to go ahead and half all of these measurements, and you'll have that. Half of 12 will be 6. That's me doing math. I'm also adding 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. That's 1, 2, and a half. We need to have something to give some lift to these guys. I want 3/4 teaspoons of salt. You always want to add some salt to any of your, let's say, sweet or almost sweet dishes to offer that contrast, and it really brings out the flavor. I also want to put in 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. And those are our dry ingredients. Simple as that. Let's whisk these together to incorporate all of those ingredients well into the flour mixture. You know, if you don't eat all of these pancakes in one sitting, you could wrap them up and freeze them, and you can pull them out later. You can either put them in a toaster or put them in a 250-degree oven to reheat them, and they'll be good as new. Good as new? They'll be good to go for another morning, or hey, breakfast for dinner. I love breakfast for dinner. Dry ingredients are ready. Let's get these wet ingredients started now. So to get our wet ingredients started, we're going to start with 2 very ripe bananas. Now, the reason why you want to use a very ripe banana is because the longer that a banana sits on the shelf, the older that it is, the greater the sugar content. So in your greener bananas, you're not going to have as sweet of a banana. And if you use bananas like these that are, I wouldn't want to eat it personally, but if you want to add it to a recipe like this, it makes the perfect addition. After you have your bananas peeled, go ahead and use either a potato masher, or you can use a fork like I'm doing here. Goodness, I gotta watch what I'm doing. You can use a fork just to mash them up. To our mashed bananas, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. While your bananas are very sweet already, you want to add a little bit more sugar to it just to sweeten the pot a little bit. So we're going to put some refined sweetener as well as our natural sweetener of our bananas. And mix that together. You want to dissolve the granules of sugar as much as you can into the banana. So this looks really good, but look how it changed the consistency. Adding that sugar changed the consistency of our banana so much. It added a lot more sugar, a lot more, obviously, a lot more moisture. And so this will be a wonderful flavor for our pancakes. To our bananas, I'm adding 2 room temperature eggs. At this point, I want to whisk up this mixture to really break down the eggs and the egg whites. It's only at this time that you want to do any kind of heavy-duty mixing. Once you add the dry ingredients, you want to keep the mixing to a minimum. At this point, we want to add 1 cup of milk and 3 tablespoons of melted butter. I almost forgot. Before I combine my wet and dry ingredients, I want to add some nice vanilla to my wet mixture. I'm using this awesome Nielsen Massey vanilla that I got off of Amazon. It's a bourbon-based vanilla. Like I said before, I am an Amazon partner, so I do get a little bit of a kickback, not a whole lot. If you add a really nice vanilla like this one to your dish, it really brings out a much more sophisticated flavor. Go to the link below where you see the Amazon link for this vanilla. Check it out. I know that it's a bit pricey, but it is well worth the flavor that you'll get in the end. Whisk that into my batter and we're good to go. So now I can combine my wet and dry ingredients. Now, if you want to put the wet into the dry, that's fine. I think that's best because I have my dry ingredients in a larger bowl. So that's going to be good. I want a larger bowl for this much batter. So I'm just going to dump it all in at one time and just mix the batter until it's combined. If you go overboard with this by mixing too much, you're going to end up with something that's much heavier and dense. Okay, and this looks absolutely perfect. I want to take another little pat of butter, put it in my pan, let that melt. Take a spoonful or so of batter, place it in the pan. I'm using about a heaping tablespoon, a heaping serving spoon like this and a half, 1.5 to 2 of them. And on the top side of this that you see that is raw, is not cooking, you want to place some banana slices. I have 5 little banana slices. When I flip it, they'll caramelize and be so super delicious. This is the hard part, sitting here waiting for this thing to cook. Now, what you don't want to do is flip your pancakes too many times. If you do that, every time you flip, you're deflating the pancake. It's going to be a flat, dense piece of something. So what you want to do if you want to check the status of the bottom, you want to just take your spatula, place it underneath, pull up, and give it a little peek, and you can see how well it's cooking on the other side. Another thing is to take a look at the top of the pancake, and you'll notice when the bubbles start on the wet side, then you know that the pancake is cooking from the bottom up, and it's doing very well in the center of it, so you're not going to end up with a raw center. I believe it's time to flip this guy, so let's see what happens. Bam! Very good job. It might be a little cooked, a little overcooked on that one side. I waited just a hair too long, but it's still going to be delicious, trust me. Now, what's happening on the underside of this is those raw bananas are cooking, they're caramelizing, they're releasing this delicious flavor that you're just going to be head over heels for whenever you bite into this thing. Okay, let's see what the banana side of this pancake looks like. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Check that out. That is perfection. That's what we're looking for. So let me get my plate here. I'm going to dismount this guy. Serve it banana side up so your customers or your family or whatever, they know that they have a delicious banana pancake on the way. I cannot get over that. That looks awesome. This is a super fantastic pancake. The banana flavor, the caramelization of the heat on those fresh bananas, as well as the nuttiness of the toasted walnuts and my maple syrup, totally perfection. I hope you get a chance to make this recipe. If you like my videos, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also check out some of my other videos on my Sweet and Baked video playlist. I'll see you next time.